Happily ever after is not a fairy tale. It's a choice. Dawn Weaver. You're here today. You're here, on this website, on my channel, because you desire a relationship. You desire to be intimately connected to another human being, hopefully for a lifetime. But now that you have your person, you're in a relationship, you found someone that you want to spend your life with, someone to have your life experiences with, you now may have fallen into this rut of boredom, this rut of staleness, this rut of predictability, this rut of passiveness. And if you're not careful, being stuck in this rut for too long can completely destroy your relationship. Hi, my name is Sharika Matthews, life coach, relationship expert, and the creator of Feminine Success Mastery. And today I want to talk to you about the tools that you need in order to cultivate the garden of your relationship. Because let's face it, you have done the work. You have done the work to get the man. You have done the work to get the relationship. You may have even have done the work to get the ring. And so you have done all these things that you know to do to lead to your happily ever after. But life happens. Life happens to the point of you either get stuck in a rut, you get distracted by work obligation, by kids. You may even get stuck in a rut in your relationship because a lot of your energy has gone to pursuing your own dreams and ambitions, such as starting a business, writing a book, starting a nonprofit organization, spending a lot of time and dedicating your life to church, going to PTA meetings and being a PTA president. All of those things are good things, but sometimes having that many obligations and that many outside interests, it can sometimes create a sense of staleness in your relationship, especially when you have gotten to the level of comfortability in your relationship. And the danger of this is that you create a sense of nonchalantness. Like you're very comfortable and you're not worried about losing him or losing her. You're very comfortable because things are very peaceful. You're very comfortable because you can come home and relax and not have to worry about anything. So comfort is really what we want when it comes to having a relationship, but also relationships are dynamic. We forget that relationships is nothing but two people who have come together. And as an individual person, you are a dynamic person. You are a multifaceted woman who has multitudes of interests, multitudes of different viewpoints, multitudes of different sides of you. But when you show up in your relationship, or when he shows up in the relationship, you only get one thing. You only get one side of him. And so it can be so dangerous to get comfortable in that, to where you no longer continue to do the work that it takes not to keep the relationship. You have to do work to grow the relationship. When you think of your relationship as a garden and all the things that you've done up to this point, all the things you've done to get the man, all the things you've done to get the relationship, all the things you've done to get the ring, all you did was plant the seed. You planted the seed in the garden, and you planted the seed in a fertile garden. So all of those are good. You have all the right conditions for your relationship to grow, but you still have work to do. You have to cultivate the ground. You have to pull out the weeds. You have to add fertilizer. You have to water the garden. You have to do all kinds of things to make sure that that seed grows deep roots, and the seed begins to sprout, and it doesn't get attacked by outside vultures or attacked by weeds or attacked by insects. And you have to guard all those things away from your seed, away from your plant, so that your plant can grow up big and strong and produce fruit. And so you want to think of your relationship in the same way. You've done the work. You planted a seed in good fertile soil. You have a good foundation of your relationship. It's just that life has gotten in the way, like things have just happened, and you stop growing, you stop feeling passionate about your relationship, you stop getting excited about seeing him when you come home in the evenings. Now, let's be realistic. I know that you're not always going to be excited to see him. I know that there are going to be moments where you want some alone time. You need to get away and refuel and reignite yourself. That's perfectly fine. What I am referring to is this habit of day in a day out. You come home, you kiss him on the cheek, you go to he goes to his room, you go to your room, and then at night you get in bed together, you roll over and go to sleep. And that's all you do every single day. There are no plans. There are no date nights, or date nights have just become let's sit on the couch and watch TV. There's no enthusiasm behind the relationship. And when there's no enthusiasm, there's no passion. When there's no passion, there's no room for that in love feeling that you once had to grow. And let me tell you something about being in love and being loved. My definition of the difference between the two is that love is the fundamental foundation of any relationship. When you love someone, you're concerned about their well-being. You want them to be safe, you want them to be provided for, you want them to feel supported, you want to make sure you do everything to help them thrive. That is the foundation of any relationship, a romantic relationship, a parent-child relationship, a friendship, things of that nature. But when you're in love is that fire, it's that passion, it's what gives you those butterflies in your stomach. It is what makes you smile when you see him walk through the door. It's when you can feel his presence before you even see him. That's that in love feeling. And the reason why we have phrases such as falling in love and falling out of love is that in love feeling is cyclic. It is situational. It is non-dependable. But because you're at this point in your relationship where you have a solid foundation of love for that person, it's just that in love feeling has hit like a down point. And that's okay, but you don't want that down point to stay there for 6 months, 6 years, or 16 years. That is not healthy for any romantic relationship to sustain itself. So today I want to give you a couple of tools to help you cultivate the garden of your relationship so that you can add more passion, more excitement, really simply reconnect, because that's what happens. That connection that you have has gotten weak. You're not as intimate with each other. You're not as physically intimate. You're not as mentally intimate, and you're not as emotionally intimate as you would like to be. So I'm going to share with you 3 tools or 3 things you can do to help you reconnect and help you recultivate the garden of your relationship. The first thing you want to do is prioritize intimacy. Intimacy is a detailed knowledge and a detailed understanding of something or someone. Meaning that you have to make it a priority to get down into the details of knowing who he is. And not just knowing, but an understanding. This is where conversation really helps. This is where spending quality time, not quantity of time, but quality time with your husband, with your boyfriend, with your partner, in order to get to know him better. Because we are always growing. Different life experiences tend to shape us and affect us in how we show up in life and how we show up in our relationships. So, the thing that you do when you come home, or maybe you text them in the evening and say, hey, how was your day? That's what that really is. That is your way of kind of tapping them on the shoulder and say, hey, share with me your experiences today and how those experiences have affected you. How did it make you feel? Has it shifted your perspective? Has it shifted your belief system? We don't say all that. We just simply say, how was your day? How are you feeling today? But that is the type of information that we're going after when we ask that type of question. And because that question, how are you today, or how was your day today, has become so mundane, has become so just a habit. We just say it out of courtesy versus saying it from a place of, I am actually curious to know more about you. I am actually curious to hear more about your day. I am actually curious to know what's going on in that big, beautiful brain of yours. We've lost that sense of curiosity, and I want you to bring it back. I want you to tap back into your inner child and have a sense of curiosity and wonder about your husband, a sense of curiosity and wonder about your partner. And I know for some of you ladies who are with what I would call simple men, and that's not a derogatory term. What I am referring to is the type of man who leads a very simple life. He goes to work, he comes home, he relaxes, he may watch a football game, but that's going to be about it. He leads a very simple life, whereas most women, we tend to go to work, we pick up the kids, we talk to like three of our friends on the way home from work, we volunteer our time at church, we volunteer our time at the youth center, then we go in and we go check on our mom, go check on our brother. We have a lot going on in our lives. Most of the time the women is the one who have the more complicated lives, and the men tend to have simpler lives when we compare it to a woman's life. And so when you are with a man who leads a more simple life, it doesn't mean that he's not deep. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have life experiences. It doesn't mean he doesn't have anything to talk about, because I can almost guarantee you those type of men think a lot. They have a lot going on in your mind. And so this is where you have to have that sense of curiosity to find that key to unlock the door to his inner thinking, to figure out what it is that he thinks about, to figure out what moves him, what inspires him, what excites him. You know, like my guy, he is excited about all things space. And that's just, I've never dated anyone, been with anyone who just so excited about what happens beyond the atmosphere. But that is his thing. And so I engage him on that level, because otherwise he probably wouldn't say more than two words to me. Not because he doesn't, like me or love me or anything like that. It's just because he's in his head a lot and he thinks a lot, and that's what excites him. And so I found the lock and key to unlock that door to let me into how he thinks and how he perceives things. And that is what keeps us connected, because we're able to meet each other where we are, whether I'm meeting him on the spatial plane or he's meeting me on the intellectual reading books type of thing. So it takes intention. It takes you making that a priority in your life. And making it a priority doesn't mean that you have to have all these deep multi-layered conversations all the time. Prioritizing your intimacy simply means that you let him know on a regular basis that you see him, that you are connected to him, that you always want to know and make sure that he is okay. And you do that through conversation. You do that through sharing experiences. You do that simply by taking long walks, and just maybe sometimes that intimacy is not even saying a word. It could just being present for him when he's stressed, or him being present for you when you're feeling emotional. Intimacy could be simply holding hands and being fully present in that moment. It could be cuddling. It could be having sex. It could be all of those things, or just different version of those things. But prioritizing mental intimacy, prioritizing emotional intimacy, and prioritizing physical intimacy in your life on a regular basis is what's going to help you continue to cultivate the garden of your relationship. So that's number one. Number two, you want to check in regularly. And when I say check in, it's not, hey babe, I'm gonna go to the grocery store, or hey babe, I'm about to go meet my girls for happy hour. Not that type of checking in. What I'm talking about is checking the temperature of the relationship. You are seeking to find out, is he getting his needs met? Are you getting your needs met? What are his expectations of the relationship? What are your expectations of the relationships? Are those expectations still valid? Because sometimes we hold on to expectations of a relationship that we had 10 years ago, and those expectations match the person you were 10 years ago, but it doesn't match the person that you are now. So you want to have those conversations and say, hey, are you still happy? Are you feeling good about the relationship? Or is there something you like to do differently in the relationship? Is there something you like to experience more in the relationship? Just simply check in. And ladies, let's not start the conversation with, we need to talk. we all know that that phrase has a bad rep and it automatically puts him on the defense. If someone said that to you, it would put you on the defensive. So let's not start the conversation like that. Simply sit down with him and say, hey, I just want to check in with you. How do you feel? How do you feel about the relationship? Is there anything you want me to do more of, do less of, do something differently? Here are some things that I actually want to do something, more of. Or you may say, well, I'm actually pretty satisfied with the relationship. I like the way that we communicate. I like the way that we can spend time with each other. I like the way that we actually sit in silence sometimes, because sometimes I don't want to talk. So you're actually giving him feedback about the things that you enjoy about the relationship, about the things you enjoy about him, and then allow him to give you feedback about what he enjoys about the relationship and what he enjoys about you. And what that does is that it validates you. It validates your role in the relationship. It validates the strength of the relationship, and it allows you to appreciate each other. That's something that we don't do too often in relationship. Sometimes most of the time, when we have conversations in our relationships about our relationships, it's usually about everything that's going wrong or things we want to change in the relationship. So part of checking in is that you really want to show appreciation by saying these are the things I really love about you. I love how you're always helpful. I love how when I need you to listen to me, you actually listen to me and you don't judge me. You don't try to interject and you don't even try to fix it. I love the way you always make sure you get up and give me a kiss first thing in the morning. It makes me feel so loved. You can give that kind of feedback. Then you can say, the things I really love about the relationship itself is that it's been a safe space for me to just simply be myself. This relationship has been a grounding force in my life because it's been a place where I can come to. I can find peace, I can find strength, and I can find connectedness here. So that's how you give that type of feedback in your relationship. So you want to create a habit of checking in. It could be once a month, it could be once every 2 months, or once every 6 months. But you want to create a habit of having those regular check-ins just to make sure you guys are on the same page. So that's number 2. The third thing actually is very similar to the second thing, but it is you want to make sure that you see him and you affirm him. And this is specifically for the guys, meaning that you want to see past the face he puts on for you, right? Because a lot of times men are so afraid of what you think about him. They really are. They are afraid that you're going to think he's not man enough. They're afraid that you're going to think he's not good enough. They're afraid of disappointing you. They are afraid of failing you. They are afraid of making you angry. They are afraid not of you per se, but they are afraid of causing any type of harm or any type of emotional distress to you because they love you. And so you want to be able to see past his facade that he's always strong, that he always got it together, he always has the answer, and sit down and say, I see you. Thank you for showing up for me. I see that this conversation you had with your parents yesterday really took a toll on you, and I see you, and I respect the fact that you are doing your best to try and honor them and respect them. I see you. And I see the strength that you have. I see the patience that you're developing. I see all the hard work that you're doing. And I really appreciate that about you. That's how you let him know that you see him, and you are affirming him in the process by saying, I appreciate this part of you, or I am proud of what you're doing. I am proud to see that you're growing. I'm proud to see that you are going after your dreams. I'm proud to see that you're resisting temptation. You have to affirm, you have to speak life into our men, because the truth is that life is hard for both men and women, and men experiences different challenges than women do. And so men are usually in this space where there's so many expectations of him, but there's not a lot of pat on the backs for him. So it's very important to cultivate the garden of your relationship by letting him know that you see him and you affirm him. All right, you guys, I hope that this video was a blessing to you. If you really found this conversation informational and inspirational, and this is something you can implement in your relationship, I want you to leave a comment below and let me know that this video was a true help to you. But, and if you have any other questions or comments about what I've said here today, I want you to leave a comment or a question below as well. All right, you guys, thank you guys so much. And until next time, be bold, walk in your brilliance, and be completely unstoppable in what your heart truly desires in life and in your relationships. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.